people to walk through, which he does, that's allowable as far as the vehicular part of it goes, of where he parks back there.
Again, I don't have 3 real estate licenses for nothing, but I guess you can fool all the people all the time.
The only thing I can tell you there is, back in the day when I used to arrest people, I don't arrest people anymore, I used to get tickets for that. And I would consistently lose that, okay, for the exactly same, usually it was a motorcycle I would ticket. And more than once, I had an attorney explain to me, backed up by case law, that there is property line and there is sidewalk. Now, if that's changed, I'll eat my words. I'll be more than happy to tell you otherwise. But I lost enough tickets over the years, and I've had this disagreement with somebody up on Haas Avenue recently, in the last 2 years. That's what I've been told consistently. So unless they've changed the case precedent, there is a sidewalk that is public accessible. The rest of it is your private property. So if he wants to park stuff there, as far as the vehicular parking of it goes, that's his private property. Now, whatever other issues you may have as far as whatever else is involved with other city ordinances, that's outside my purview. But as far as the actual parking of a vehicle or a dumpster, that's his property.
The dumpster is a commercial dumpster, and this ordinance that Councilman Troop and Ister and I believe Mayor Persing, they all voted on this ordinance, and the ordinance covers not having, that the dumpster is so large that it is a commercial dumpster. So therefore, you're giving the rest of the people in this room and throughout the city permission to park any vehicle on their property because their yard from their house to the curb or where the public sidewalk is, they're going to be permitted to park anything that they want because that's private property. So therefore, that would make this ordinance 163-28.3 null and void.
Chief, this isn't anything to do with sidewalks. That ordinance that she's referencing is
Okay.
parking oversized commercial vehicles in a residential zone. It's forbidden in the city. So when you have a vehicle that measures more than a certain size vehicle, it's not allowed to be parked in a residential zone. And she lives in a residential zone. So that's what she's referencing there.
Okay. The last time we discussed it, we discussed sidewalks.
Commercial?
No, it's
Well,
residential
how can
zone.
there be businesses across the street then if it's already?
Businesses are allowed in a residential zone.
And I did ask if he owns a business and is running a business out of that garage, and I've been told that he doesn't. But I still want to keep bringing this up because as a community activist, I'm not the only one coming here like I don't have anything else to do but give the council a headache over this issue. There are senior
Let me ask you,
citizens.
I'll go look it up tomorrow,
Yes.
okay? Because the last time we talked about sidewalks. See, this is 163.28.3.
Yes.
Okay.
And I do have a copy here because I did a right to know and received that, you can look that over if you like. Thank you very much. Also, like I said, as a community activist, I have a lot of senior citizens in my area. Some of them are terminally ill, some of them have dementia, some of them are just old, and they're literally afraid to make telephone calls. Their attitude is, I don't want to make trouble. They're not going to do anything. I've seen the code office come here and they've told them to do that and remove it several times and nothing gets done. Oh, that's so-and-so's property, better leave them alone. So I'm asking that, you know, sometimes I'm going to come to the code office and write up complaints, or I'll send the complaints through the Cedar Card website. And I'd like the council to please look at some of them and help the addresses that I may list there. It's not for me, it's for the neighbors. Excuse me, I have one neighbor who is very ill, and he may be terminal very soon. And he has new owners next door, and they're just piling up all their trash on his fence, and it's pushing the fence, you know, over, so that the fence is now leaning. He's scared to make a phone call to the code office. That's ridiculous. So It's little issues like that. I think that a couple of meetings ago, Councilman Troop, you said that you were hiring someone that was going to go around the neighborhoods and, you know, be able to make note of these things and then start giving warnings and fines. May I ask what's happening with that?
Yeah, I just had a report here last meeting for anybody who wanted to see. He's doing a pretty good job. He's been down busy as heck, 2 or 3 pages long.
Has he started in a better part of the
He
area or
goes where we
something?
get Carl's, and he goes and he walks the streets. Matter of fact, he was out today. I mean, if you have a problem with traffic like that, give me the address, we'll check it out.
Yes, I try to be helpful and I
Did
do
you drop
send
that off the town
emails.
office, Mrs. Russell? Did you drop that off?
I do it through the Cedar Cog website, sir, and I make it a complaint.
Website, what?
It's on the code administration website where you can file complaints in writing. And I do that so that it can be documented and that no one can say it hasn't been reported.
Good girl.
What was that?
All right, and last but final, and I really hate to mention this, but I found it highly unprofessional and disrespectful that Mr. was allowed to get on a public media site like Facebook's and insult and disrespect a sitting council member. I was really surprised.
Does this happen during work?
I don't know, sir. I don't think
Well,
that
you made
that
an
matters
accusation, it happened
because,
during work.
I don't think that that matters
Oh,
because she
I'm
sits on the
sorry.
council, she represents this city, she's appointed by you.
No, she's
I don't sit on the
not.
council.
You don't sit on the council.
You are considered a council member because you are a citizen. Then you guys need to look up your own ordinances. You say you follow the third-class Act of Harrisburg. Well, that makes her a part of the council. And if she's not, then she should never say anything during a meeting. So I just wanted to put that out, that it was very unprofessional, whether she did it on city time or whether she did it privately. Thank you.
And then I'd rather if you call me elderly instead of old, okay?
Sir, that's a minor thing. I'm a senior
It's
citizen
not
and
me.
it's not bothering me.
It
I don't know
does
which
me.
one of us is older,
It
I'm
does
just
me.
taking care of myself. Thank you.
Okay. In the back, there was a,
And you don't live in Ward 4, do you?
Yeah, hi, my name's Eric
Well,
Long.
then that's who I'm talking about.
go ahead.
He's a ignorant.
I ain't got as much to say as this young lady. But, I'm a certified official for, Central Pennsylvania Cornhole Organization, but that isn't a beanbag toss. They do it Penn State, they do it Ohio State, they do it everywhere. They're out there throwing beanbags in a hole, thus giving the name cornhole. I just wanted to thank the city of Sunbury, everybody here, for allowing us to do it in the park on Saturday. We had 11 youth participants that got to get out and earn a certificate amongst the state of Pennsylvania, which is the Central Pennsylvania Cornhole Organization. I do want to thank you very much, Dave, and the rest of the council for allowing us to have that, and hopefully we continue to have good numbers turn out, and we can turn those 11 youth into 100 to 200 youth in the city, giving them something to do during ample hours of the day. But I thank you very much.
Wasn't there some adults, did they also play it?
Yes, we had 8 American Cornhole Organization is the governing body of beanbag toss. So for whoever has a computer, can look it up on www.americancornhole.com, and that'll give you all the information you need to know about it. I haven't entered our statistics, but we had a gentleman and a lady from Pittsburgh specifically travel across the state to play in our regional tournament, which we'll host at least once a month at different locations and venues, and actually have the opportunity to possibly bring a Pennsylvania beanbag toss championship to the city, which would be great revenues for the city. But I thank you very much again, Dave, and the rest of the council.
Thank you, Eric. I know the kids had fun. I was up and watching.
Yeah,
They
everybody
definitely have.
Saturday, looks like there's a lot of smiles there, Eric.
Yeah, it was fun. It was definitely fun. And we also did have two youth bands that played on the stage, without falling, and the third place finishers in, the Valley's Got Talent. That's what, I didn't say that. That was Colors Best Kept Black, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I just want to say thank you to the outpouring. Yesterday, we had a pretty intense fire right behind us here on Chestnut Street. It was pretty intense. We had some difficulties we had to deal with. First of all, the wind that unfortunately we could not control. With that, we had some uncertainty of occupants inside the structures. I just want to say thank you to the community for their outpouring, for their support of my fire department. They brought many drinks. I mean, more drinks than my department could actually drink. We could actually probably start a bucket brigade later in the day, you know. But I also want to thank the Eagles, and Eric Long being one of them. They opened up their organization for my firefighters who were chilly, wet, cold, to go down in, sit there in the warm, drink a hot drink, get comfortable, re-energize, come back out. Main thing is I want to thank my firefighters and my surrounding communities that came to support me with the efforts. It was 100% effortless, detailed by everyone, you know, with the conditions we were dealing with. I also want to say thank you to Councilman Troop and you, the Mayor, for coming up. It felt good to have council support with a strong hand on your shoulder saying whatever the city needs or whatever you need, the city's there to back you. So I just want to thank everyone for their support.
Thank you and the entire police and fire department for what, it wasn't just a single house, you're right, it was, you did an excellent job, there was a ton of wind there, and I know we all take you, you know, and every year, the more I say the same thing, we unfortunately take all the people that give up their time away from their lives, their families, and their meals and everything else, because you had all the help there you needed, and yeah, there was a lot of outside help there at the same thing, so thank you for everything that you guys did. It could have been a lot worse, and thank God at least nobody was hurt, either people, residents, or outside. Yes?
I'd like to thank Mike for bringing that up. That brings me to a topic that I wanted to bring up tonight and ask you, Mr. Mayor. I've heard rumors. I hate to go on rumors, but unfortunately, apparently, they're more than rumors that there's a possibility the council's looking at eliminating the fire department as a volunteer organization.
Where would you hear that?
Don't know.
Was
That's
said
why
on
I'm
the
addressing
radio
you,
this
Mr.
morning.
Mayor. I'm asking you.
No, I don't
As
worry about
president
that.
of the Americas, I can tell you that the city of Sunbury cannot afford a part-time or full-time fire department.
And we know that.
And I have no idea where this is coming from, but I just want to put that out there right now that that's a lot of concern to us. As you can see, what happened yesterday, the support that came from the other communities, and they're all volunteers, and where it came from. We're not at Williamsport or Wilkes-Barre or Scranton or Harrisburg. We can't afford a tax base that's going to support a volunteer or a semi-paid or paid fire department. You know,
No, I'll guarantee you that, I can't believe anybody in this council would go against that, and we feel bad as it is when we know we could always, you always need more money, but we at least try to make sure you have enough money to keep the fire trucks running and things going, but, no, you do an excellent job, we talk about it all the time, and you shouldn't be worried about it.
apparently one of your
Councilman
council,
Gallo said it on
apparently one of your
radio.
council
He's
members.
going to cut the fire department. He said it on the radio this morning. Play it back and listen to it.
Well, you know, this council is a full supporter of the fire department of the city. I mean, we are lucky to have the fire department that we have in the city of our side. I mean, we will always have the support of myself, and I can speak for the other council member here. We would never do that.
Mr. Booth, you know that, you know, you're speaking to the choir here, so.
You always have my support.
I'm not sure why.
I don't know what you're saying, but I didn't say that on the radio.
That's what campaigns for.
I'll listen to it again, but I didn't say that this morning.
You have to listen to the radio
Well-
station to know you didn't say that.
Apparently, and unfortunately, the one person that the comment was made to, his house was involved in the fire and can't be here tonight to support that accusation. But it appears that, Mr. Bartello, you made a comment that you're not happy with the fire department.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
What comment was made?
that you want to eliminate the fire department.
You like spreading rumors, sir?
I just listened to
That's all it is. It's all
I
the
listened to the interview.
You like
about an hour
grandstanding?
ago.
You know what that is?
How much
All right, you got your answer.
get paid to say
We don't
that?
think council, we know council's not gonna
That's,
be.
You think I'm a fucking
that's
idiot?
political strategy there.
Disgusting, it really is.
It's terrible.
I just wanted to ask you, Mr. Mayor.
And if you believe that, I got a bridge in New York to sell you too, because I mean, you'd have to be an idiot to try and get rid of a fire department in a town. I mean, what would make you even think that?
I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Something
Yes,
that
ma'am.
get votes.
What's the status of Cowabungas? When is that going to open?
Have to ask the, do anything about that?
No, that's up to us, the owner, as far as I'm concerned, where they stand at. I have no idea.
Well, I only asked Mike, where, are they permits or were they?
Last I knew that they submitted plans for approval. It's in our third party's hands. I really don't know anything at this
Who's
point.
the
Mayor.
third party?
Our third party commercial inspection agency.
Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
My name's Megan. I actually also wanted to say thank you to the fire departments. My house was one of the ones destroyed in the fire yesterday, and I know they put in a lot of long hours yesterday. And I appreciate the Eagles and the Red Cross and everyone else who pulled together yesterday, and that everyone was safe. So thank you very much. I also want to say on behalf of SRI that thank you to the city and the Eagles. We will be having our grand opening on Market Street tomorrow at 4:30 to 7 p.m. So you're welcome. Everyone's welcome to stop by, check out all of the many historic artifacts that have been loaned to us by the Historic Society, the City of Sunbury, and both Mayor Persing and Rick Reichner have all generously loaned items to us so that we can share those with the community. So please stop in. We'd be glad to see you there.
If I can do
Thank
anything
you.
for you, please, I'll give you my name and number.
Dave, once again, thank Mrs. Campbell for getting our photo desk, taking care of the pictures, everything's downstairs. Schiller's still doing some more for us, and keep bringing them out, so thank you again.
Thank you very much, yes. I think you'll see, I think you're gonna see some, not that there's gonna be a lot of stuff there, but there is some very unique things that are gonna be in there. And that, I know I keep talking, I've been talking about this for years, but it just shows, to me, it just proves that that historic library that I call it, whatever it turns out to be, hopefully in the future, but there are a ton of people in the city that have those things from their fathers and their grandfathers sitting in their attics and their basements and that stuff that you just, when people pass on their kids, you know how they just don't have that interest, and boy, I just hate to see that stuff lost. And I still think there'll be we're gonna come up with a spot somewhere that we can just, people can, even if you have something you wanna be, I met a person the other day, Talk City, can fill a room, 8x10 room with things from the Rialto Theater. Now, if you're Sunbury, you remember the Rialto Theater, and I think that would be a pretty neat display to put up. So we just need to find that situation somewhere in our downtown that we can, let that gentleman display his stuff for 3 months or 6 months or whatever it may be as a draw. But anyway, hopefully that's what part of this is gonna be. You're gonna see some things there that you probably have never seen before, and hopefully it will stir some emotions in your head and think about things that you have or your dad has or something that you haven't seen in 20 years and that type of stuff. So that's just part of it. The other part is, of course, the building itself, as Megan said, is the opening, and we hope that allows every citizen of the city of Sunbury the opportunity now to go in there when they get the hours established and the weekends, what it may be, ask questions about what's happening, make your suggestions. Even more, we hope to get more volunteers out of that, so people might walk in and say, well, what does SRI do? And somebody's there from SRI to explain to it, and maybe their expertise is gardening and they want to be part of the gardening club or whatever it may be. There's all kinds of opportunities, but I think it's the location is going to be great for us, and it's all because of the Sunbury Eagles that we have it there, and you'll find more about that. But if you get a chance tomorrow just to stop down, what was it again, maybe 4 to 7?
4:30 to 7
4:30 to 7.
at 2:45.
If you get a chance to stop down, and thank you for bringing that up, because I didn't see you hiding back there. Question? Yes.
My name's Pat Words. For the lady here was saying about the elderly that were too scared to call if they have a problem and stuff. If they're that elderly, I don't understand why she's bringing it here to you guys. Where's their families? Shouldn't be the families that take care of the elderly if it's their family, instead of coming here and complain?
I'm not complaining, I'm bringing it to their attention, and I agree with you, where are their families? And I hope that you never get in that position where you live alone and don't have family that you worked hard for all your life to help you.
Some older people are really independent though, and they like their independence, and they don't like family or friends to stick their nose where it doesn't belong. And if they're
Okay.
afraid to make a complaint to the city, that's pathetic.
But you do know that there are social service agencies out there that can
Absolutely.
deal with the aging.
Absolutely.
And I've worked for a couple of them, so I do know what I'm talking about when I say I come as a community advocate. Mayor,
Wait a second.
Just before we conclude here this evening, just update on budget planning. I know we had our meeting last Monday. We had another meeting scheduled for this coming Monday, November 4th. That meeting is actually being postponed and we'll be having the subsequent week after our next council meeting. So again, just to clarify, at the last meeting, everyone came to the conclusion it would be best to not get together on the 4th. So again, we're going to be postponing that to the following 2 weeks.
Todd, will that be November 18th at 6 o'clock?
Here, that's correct.
And November 18th at 6 o'clock here, right?
That's correct.
Thank you,
Not
Mr.
meeting on the
Smith.
11th.
The 11th.
Isn't it the 11th?
No,
That's
that's
our
our
budget
regular
meeting.
meeting. 18th is
Budget's
a
on the
budget
18th,
meeting,
regular.
November
I
18th.
thought you said it was after your meeting. I got you now.
That's right.
It's November
The
18th at
meeting
6
after the
o'clock.
11th, not after the meeting on the 11th.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, since we're talking about rumors floating, I had been sitting on this for a long time and hopefully you'll clear it up. There had been a rumor going around, and it's still going around, that council and the county people like Mr. Krause and Brittany, that they've been discussing of a sale of the prison and knocking the building down and not keeping it as a historical site.
Sunbury City Council?
So
And
I'm
talking with
asking you,
Vivian?
that's a rumor
No,
that's been
Sunbury
going
City
around.
Council's not talked to, who'd you say, Vivian?
Yes,
No.
Okay, so there is no discussion going on about closing the prison and knocking it
It's none
down
of our
and selling? I'm just asking, sir.
No, City
Okay.
Sunbury isn't.
You
None
know,
of our
like you
business.
said, like this gentleman said, there's a rumor about the fire department, I just want to clear up that rumor.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
National Register of Historic Places.
Right, but I mean, we couldn't do anything unless it falls down, somebody gets killed or something, that type of thing. So.
Excuse me.
Anything else? Megan?
Actually, I just wanted to clarify, wouldn't that come under HARB? Destruction of a significant property in the historic district?
Well, we have all kinds of issues there, because you have historical, you're right, and you have the state involved because of the correction in the county, and, no, we would be the last, I mean, right, if it came to that, we would say we'd get involved, but we would have no input whatsoever into what they're doing if they're, I mean, someday they're gonna have to have a new jail, I mean, I don't know how, that's an old building, real old building. But, city council's not involved in anything, county about that whatsoever. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
David, I'd like to ask this question because it seems like there's a lot of childishness and bullying going on during this whole political event. What is the penalty for taking or destroying political signs? Because it seems to be happening on both sides. I'm seeing Joe's being kicked over, yours being taken, thrown in the street. I mean, it's happening on both sides, and it's really ridiculous, and it needs to stop. But what is the penalty for destroying political signs or taking?
Dave, first you have to catch them doing it. You do anything unless you catch them doing it.
Okay. I really don't know. I mean, we've been doing this for a lot of years, and so, you know, it's been going on forever and ever and ever. I don't really know what it is, to be honest with you. I don't.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Oh, I know. I was there, remember?
They're not cheap.
So you don't know, Beth, what the penalty would be?
No, the first thing you do is you have to catch them doing it.
Right.
And then you have to report it to the police. And then there's a fine involved because it is a criminal act.
Because I think home surveillance is going to play a big part in finding out who some of these people are.
On mine at 7 in the rain, you got missing over the weekend, will you?
And there was one right up on, there was one up on that, well, two up on Edison Avenue. One was Joe's and the other one was David's, and it was taken. And 3 blocks up the street, they were in the street.
We found
It
those.
happens
We
every
found
year
those.
because it's around
Kids in the
Halloween.
corner.
Okay. Eric?
I just want to kind of add to that. Chief, I don't know what you're going to do to an 8-year-old kid from the back school, but I have signs out too that have been disrupted, and they were none of the gentlemen you said there. So, I mean, it was, Rick's was picked up
Well,
and
it's
thrown.
ridiculous. I
but-
mean, it's childish.
And it happens. I mean, we got kids running around all over. I mean, the point of saying is this kind of small.
Well,
Unless you know.
right. I said it's on both sides.
All right, I want to thank everybody for coming. This meeting's adjourned.